beyond that, the only thing that I think I'm going to pick up next is going to be my Tessa Dare book, which is the Do You Want to Start a Scandal by Julia, wow, all of that was wrong. So I am, not that it really matters, but I'm Gilded the Crescent, and so like there's this like thermometer looking thing. Hold on, I'll just show you. Like it's smart, I'll just pick it up. Okay, it is Thursday. Yes. Work just kind of ended for the day. So I thought I'd come on and kind of, oh no. Hold on. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with week 2 of the Aurelium Magical Readathon. So it's technically still Friday, even though this video is probably not going to really start until tomorrow, aka Saturday, but we have a relatively early morning, so I thought I'd just go ahead and kind of get the ball rolling here, open up this vlog, tell you what the plans are for for this upcoming week. So tomorrow we're actually going to visit some of our really dear friends from college. You'll have seen them before, but we haven't seen them in person for 2 years because of COVID and stuff like that, and also like schedules and things just haven't worked out. So we're actually meeting up and I'm so freaking excited. So we'll be doing most of that tomorrow. I'm not really sure what I'll show you, if I'll actually like vlog much of it or I'll just kind of like be in the moment with them. But as far as reading for this week goes, I'm bringing 2 books over. So we have The Heiress by Molly Greeley, I believe, and this is just kind of like a reimagining, relook at Anderberg from Pride and Prejudice. I have very much enjoyed this. It's definitely a new look. It really follows Anne as she comes into her own, and it's kind of like figuring out who she is as a person because she has been very sheltered for most of her life. And so I read most of this last week, but I do have a couple of hours left. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get around to it, but this will be my first book that I do finish. And this, hold on, I can't remember what it's for. This is for the prompt of Restoration, which is a book featuring healers, and Anne is thought to be really, really sickly as she's been growing up, so she has a lot of healers, a lot of nurses, a lot of doctors that are around her. So I'm bringing that one over, and then I'm also bringing over Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutano, and this one is for Conjuration, which is a book with a source of light on the cover. We've got the chandelier there. Read the prologue, it's a whole 4 pages. Don't really have a whole lot to say about it quite yet, but this is a physical read, so this probably will go over the next probably week or so. It's not going to be finished this week. If it is, it's a miracle. Although I do have Friday off, so we'll see, but I'm bringing that one over. So those are the 2 that I have mainly focused on. And then as of right now, the only other like solid plans of things that I'm for sure going to pick up is going to be my Tessa Dare read, which is Do You Want to Start a Scandal? This is the 5th book in the Spinal Cove series, also the last full-length novel, and I'm pretty sure as of right now, the last anything in the series. There was like on Goodreads, it says there's like a novella that comes after this, but I've done some research and I can't find it anywhere, so I don't think it's out yet. That's my theory. But this is a buddy read that I was trying to start today, actually, and it just didn't happen. So this will be the next audio I pick up when I finish The Heiress, and this one was going to be for a different prompt, but I ended up switching it around, and it's actually going to be for Art of Illusion, which is a book with a trope that you love. Pretty sure it's going to have hate to love in this. I'm also pretty sure there's forced proximity in some way, which is also a fun one. So I am definitely going to be picking this one up. It'll probably be done in like a couple of days or so. So I'm not too worried about that. And with those 3 done, there's only 2 more things that I for sure need to read, and that's like a short story and then another historical romance. So those will be what's up next, but that's kind of my plan for this week, is to get those 3, or at least the Heiress and the Tessa Dare book done for sure, and then we'll kind of see where the mood takes me, because I have many other books that I can read after I get done with like the ones that are required for my career. So we have many many books to get to. So lots of, you know, options that we can go from, you know, after the ones that I've read, but those are my plans for right now, and I'll take you along and we'll see what the next week has in store. I'm excited though, because like it's a relatively short work week. I do have Friday off like I mentioned, so hopefully we'll be getting some reading done next weekend as well. Fingers crossed. Hi friends! So I am here to kind of update you. It is Monday. I've lost all track of time and the week hasn't even started yet. It's Monday and I just wanted to come on here real quick because I have a couple of updates for you. I finished 2 books. I know. So yesterday, Sunday afternoon, night sometime, I finished The Heiress by Molly Greeley. I really adored this book. I think this is a perfect book for anyone who considers themselves a Jane Austen or Pride and Prejudice fan, because like it is very different, but it gives you this look at a different character, but in a very unique way that like still feels like it fits in with the rest of the story. Like it's one thing to write your own version of different characters, but it's a different thing to write it where it's believable to fit into the original story. And I've read some that don't do that and are terrible, and this one is not one of those. This is a really good one that I think would fit right in with the events of Pride and Prejudice. And it takes place primarily after Pride and Prejudice ends because it follows Anne de Burgh, like I've mentioned, and she's not a major character in the story, which is why the author has given her her own book here. And it's, I don't know, like obviously, you know, Mr. Collins and Charlotte Lucas, aka Mrs. Collins, show up for a hot second. Darcy and Lizzie show up because Darcy's a cousin, and like Darcy's a pretty big, I mean not big, but like relatively decent size of the plot because Anne's mother is like intent on having Darcy and Anne marry. So Darcy's a relatively big, I mean, he's not really that big of a plot because it mostly is just Anne's story. And like, I don't want to say too much because I'll be rehashing a lot of things I thought last week, or I feel like I will be telling you way too much about the plot before you go into this book, but it is pretty historically set. Like the author did a little bit of research before going into this one about some of the events that happened to Anne to see how like realistic that would be. And I just think that the writing lends itself so well to this classic style, in the sense that like a new generation can read these books and understand these books, but it's written in a way that it feels more classical than it actually is, and so it lends itself really well to having, you know, fit right in with that Pride and Prejudice world. So I really, really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I don't think I said that yet, but I gave it 4 stars. It's fantastic. I highly recommend. And I think it's, you know, if you're even the slightest bit interested, I say give it a try. Plus, it does have a queer kind of twist to it, which I didn't know going into it until like right before I think I started it. Well, maybe I did know going into it. I didn't really know when I picked it up, but when I like started it, I read somewhere on Goodreads that it did have like those themes, and I was like, what does this mean? And it's just a beautiful story, and the last chapter made me sob like an infant. So, and it wasn't even like particularly like sad or anything. It just like, it has that trope that I can never mention because it's a huge spoiler that's in the end of the book. And I just, it gets me every time, and it was so good. And there's still this kind of question mark at the end of the book, because like it leaves off in a way that you're like, where are we going from here? I don't know. I liked it a lot. So I read that one. I forgot what that was prompt-wise. That was for a book featuring healers, which was for restoration, which is great. And then I started yesterday and then finished today. Do You Want to Start a Scandal by Tessa Dare. This is the last in her Spindle Cove series. I read this almost entirely today. I think I got through like 4 or 5 chapters last night, and then read the rest of it today on audio. And I have a lot of mixed feelings about this. I ended up giving it 4 stars. So this one follows our main character, Charlotte Highwood. I don't remember if I actually told you what this is about, but this follows our main character, Charlotte Highwood, and at this like country estate, country getaway, there's a ball, and there's a tryst in the library, and everyone thinks it's her and this earl that she can't stand, or sorry, this lord that she can't stand. And so it's the two of them moving on from there. And she is a character that we've seen a few times in past books from Spindle Cove, but this is also the 4th in the Castles Ever After series, which is confusing to me because like there's not really a castle in here. I mean, the main guy is really rich and owns like 5 houses, or he's like a marquis, and he owns like a lot of houses, but like castle? I don't know. Anyway, so my thoughts on this is that the character of Charlotte is very different than we've ever seen her before. I feel like this is a completely different character, and I don't know if there's a big time gap between this book and the events of like the Spindle Cove series in the past. I don't know if there is one, but there seems to be some sort of gap. I liked the relationship between Charlotte and our main guy, Piers. But again, Charlotte felt differently. So my theory is that if you go into this one not having read the Spindle Cove series, you will really enjoy it because you won't have all of those preconceived notions about Charlotte as a character. But if you do, then the character of Charlotte is different. So like if you can separate this Charlotte from the Charlotte in the past, which I could do a little bit, which is why I did end up getting 4 stars, because most of the time I like would start and stop this book throughout the day, and I honestly forgot that it was at all related to the Spindle Cove series, and it wasn't just another historical romance that I was reading. But if you can separate that from the series, then I think the enjoyment of it will be better. So I did like it. There is a mystery element to this book, which I feel like was a bigger part of the plot than the romance was, which is weird for a romance book. So like, I don't know, like the romance was a pretty big part of the plot. All the things you expect from a historical romance were in there, but the mystery was such a big part of the plot that I was questioning a few things. So if you like mystery elements with your romance, then like this is a good one for you, because like they're trying to figure out, well, Charlotte specifically is trying to figure out who this couple was that was in the library that everyone thinks is her. And so she's trying to basically clear her name. And I liked that aspect of it, like solving all these mysteries, and the banter between her and this guy was really good. I liked their relationship, and there was some funny moments in this, but it still wasn't like the Tessa Dare that? Well, I don't know, because it was like this book separate from the series was a Tessa Dare that I remember, kind of, maybe not as funny, but it definitely like had its moments. I don't know. I'm still very conflicted about it, as you can see. But I gave it 4 stars, and this one was for the prompt of Art of Illusion, which is a book with a trope you like, aka hate to love. She like freaking despises this man. Also, this has like marriage of convenience, kind of. So that's one that I enjoy as well. So many things in here trope-wise that worked for me. But I still love Tessa Dare. I'm still going to continue to buddy read the rest of this series. But this one was probably not my favorite in the series. I still think that goes to the 4th one, which is, oh no, Any Duchess Will Do. That one is still, I think, my favorite in the series. But I haven't finished this one. So, looking at like my stats and everything now, there are three books, including Dial A for Aunties, that I need to finish for my like career. I did find an audiobook for Dial A for Aunties though, so I'm very excited about that. I didn't think there was one, but I did find one on Audible, so I had to pay for it, but I had a credit, so it worked out. So I'm going to try to pick that one up at some point, but my next book is actually not even on this list. But it does go with the readathon, which is why I'm telling you. Because it's one of those side adventures, which I did explain in last week's vlog a little bit, but basically the idea is that you're part of this, like, community. They're called guilds, but it's like, I think of it as like the equivalent of like a magical sorority, where like you can choose to be part of it, or you don't have to be part of it, and you can still go to like the magical school and decide not to be part of one of these guilds. So I am, not that it really matters, but I'm Gilded the Crescent, and so like there's this like thermometer looking thing. Hold on, I'll just show you. So there's this little gauge here that like as you do things, you get points, and it makes you like a master in your specific guild. And so I haven't filled this out at all, but I have 50 already for participating in the very first one, which I think was the like path or something, and then each semester you get 50 more points. But they're different adventures that are posted on Twitter and the Discord that you can claim, and it has like, you know, 10 people can participate in this, and it's just like an extra prompt to read. So there's 3 that were posted on Twitter that are like anyone can do. It's not like narrowed down to a specific thing, and one of those is steal a book from another TBR. So I'm going to pick up Learned My Lesson by Katie Robert, because this is a buddy read with my friend Taylor, and so it's on her TBR, so I'm stealing it from her TBR, even though we're buddy reading it. And technically I don't think she's participating in the readathon, so I'm not sure it fully counts, but I'm saying it counts. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to pick up that one next, because it does fill one of the prompts, and I believe it's like 10 points or something. So I've got a couple adventures as well that I'd like to participate in. There's one that's like a 5-star prediction, and one that's a book from an author that's new to you. So both of those are doable, and I have options for those. But that's my next audiobook that I think I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to plow through tomorrow and Wednesday. I think I'm at home working for the next couple of days, so I'll have a little bit more time to read physically, so I'm hoping to get through some of those things. I've got like the really tiny short Galatea book by Madeline Miller that came in. It's real tiny, so I would like to get through that at some point. And then I'd also like to plow through Dial A for Aunties. So if, considering it's Monday and I've already finished 2 books, if I can get those 3 done this week, that would be stellar. We'll see what happens there, but I've got some more time this week than I thought I was going to. But that's my update for now. I finished 2 more things, which is very exciting. I'm very happy with my reading so far. Nothing's been below a 4-star as of right now, so we're looking good. But yeah, I'll come back to you when I have more thoughts or I've finished things. But that's where I'm at. 2 down for the week, and it's only Monday. Consider that a win. Hello friends, it's Thursday, yay Thursday. It's actually my Friday, because I'm not working tomorrow. I'm very excited about it. But I thought I'd come on here and kind of give you an update on where I am, because I have finished a couple of things. So Tuesday, recently, I read in one sitting Galatea, which is the short story by Madeline Miller. Hold on, I need my notes. I did not plan very well for this. So that was one of the things that was required for the career I chose, and that one was for Elemental Studies. That's a book under 100 pages. This one was like 56 or something like that. Oh my gosh, exactly 56. Crazy. But this is one, I ended up giving it 4 stars. I am very conflicted on how to feel about this because I'm not sure how to talk about it because it's so tiny in all of the ways. I mean, like, look at these pages. Like, there's barely any words on these pages. So I was able to get this down in like 20 minutes, if that. But this is following a woman named Galatea. It's based on the Greek myth by the same name, where there's this man who is very much against like all of his society that he lives in, the town that he lives in. He basically thinks all women are prostitutes and terrible people and like the Greek equivalent of sinning, basically. Like, they're all just terrible people and want to take advantage of you. So he creates this woman out of stone and prays to the gods to basically make her a person, and they do. And the myth ends with them living like happily ever after. And so a lot of people have taken that as like a positive thing, whereas Madeline Miller looked at the myth and was like, but what about this woman? Because I think all of her books are relatively feminist in a sense. So this is a take on that, and it's set. Honestly, it's very vague on where it's set, so like you could believe it's set contemporarily, but you could also believe it's set historically. So it's just kind of up to you. But it basically follows Galatea, and at this like doctor, like she's under the care of doctors and nurses because her husband put her there because she did things that he didn't want her to do. So he's trying to control her and kind of keep her under lock and key basically via these doctors and nurses. And she keeps talking about how she's made out of stone, and like, of course she's never going to get warm because she was made out of stone, and her husband knows that she was made out of stone, and they have a kid together, which is from the original myth. I did know that like the original myth, they also had a kid together, and like he basically told all these doctors and nurses not to believe her because she says crazy things, so like they don't think twice about her. Anyway, and it's just like her in this situation, and like her reflecting on what got her in this situation, and things go from there. So it's a very feminist look. She packs a punch in this itty bitty book, because you're sitting there and you're just like in the mind of Galatea. She's talking about what, you know, got her here, her past relationship so far with her husband, the guy that carved her, and his relationship with her and her kid, and like where she wants to say things and she wants to do certain things, but she won't because her husband won't like it a certain way, or like won't talk to her, or will punish her in one way or another. Like, it's very, very like he is controlling, and it's just her take on it. And again, it's so tiny, there's not a whole lot to say about this except for that like it packs a punch. So go in hesitantly. Like, I'm not even sure there's really any trigger warnings per se, but just he's very controlling and wants her a certain way, and if she doesn't act a certain way, he gets really angry. So just kind of have that in mind. But I'm glad that I've read it. Again, 4 stars according to Copile. I put it through the system because I was like, I don't even know how to feel about this. It's just there's not a lot of material to work with, but it does pack a punch for what it does. It kind of makes you think about stuff a little bit. So I'm glad I read this, but again, I don't even know how to talk about it. So I finished that one, and then I just finished Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert, which was for one of the side adventures. What was it? 5-star prediction? Is that what I did it for? I think so. No, stole from somebody else, TBR. That's what it was. So yeah, I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was good. I'm gonna, as I'm talking about this, it's gonna sound like I don't like it, but I did. It was good. It is a throuple between Hades, Meg, and Hercules. So if that's not your thing, just be wary of that. I'd never read a book like that before, so I was kind of getting used to the dynamic of that. But it's definitely, as far as like an erotic romance can go, it's more character driven than like the past book, which was based on Jafar and Jasmine, and that one was a little bit more plot driven. Now again, as much as you can get with like an erotic romance, because those are going to be like the main points of the book, is to have all of those like sexy scenes. But I've discovered I need, even if it's just like the teeny tiniest plot, I need some sort of plot for there to be like a connection as to what's going on, why our characters are in the situation they're in. And for most of this book, I didn't really get that. I liked the beginning and I liked the end, because those were the two like action-packed per se scenes, whereas the middle was just a jumble of people not talking about their feelings. And then once everyone talked about their feelings, everything was fine. And I'm curious because, like, so this is, like I said, a Hades retelling, and Zeus shows up in this one, and there's also her Neon Gods series, which the first one, or her Dark Olympus series, and the first one in that is Neon Gods, which follows Hades, and the way it's just Olympus is described in this book is very similar to how Olympus is in her Neon Gods book. So I'm wondering if there's a connection there, if there's like a timeline thing where like the Dark Olympus Neon Gods book happened before the Learn My Lesson Wicked Villains book. I don't know. Like, I feel like she's written these two books and they like conflict a little bit, so I'm curious what's gonna happen there. Or the Hades, no, that wouldn't work either. So I'm trying, I have many questions, and I want to know if there's any connection, or if I'm trying to create a connection that's not there. Because I believe that that is something that I would be trying to do. So, I enjoyed it. I did. But again, I wanted, like, even if it's just like the tiniest bit of a plot, I need some sort of plot to go behind all of the sex scenes, basically. Or I'm just not used to having the main couple be 3 people instead of 2 people. I've never read relationships like that before. So, maybe it's just a learning curve. I know that there's another one later in the series that's a 3-person couple as well, so I'm curious how I'll feel about that when we get to it. So that's kind of my update now. I've read those 2 books. I've got one more as far as like the main ones I need to do, and then I finished another one, so I get 10 more points to put on my little guild thing. I even filled it out. Like, here, see, look, I've even got like my 50 points now, so I need to add 10 more points. Or just wait and like add them later. I don't know how to like chart this out. I've got to figure that out. But yay, I'm excited about that. So next steps. Here's what I'm thinking. I looked at the books that I've got out from the library as far as audiobooks go, and I need to finish my 2 middle grades because they go back in like a week. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm slightly more tempted by this one, so I'm gonna go with the second in the Magic Misfit series. It's literally called The Second Story. And this is by Neil Patrick Harris. It's super shiny. I do apologize. I don't know how to like show it to you. But basically the series follows 6 friends, and they're all into magic, like sleight of hand magic, not like fantastical wizards and things like that. So this is the second one in the series of 4, and I really enjoyed the first one, and this one I don't actually know anything about, but based on the cover, the villain looks like she's going to be like a storyteller, or like a fortune teller of sorts. Not storyteller, fortune teller. So yeah, I'm super excited. I remember the first one being so much fun, and I'm curious if they'll do it. Yeah, so they have the how-to pages in between the chapters where they show you how to do specific types of magic, and I don't know if my audiobook is narrated by NPH, but I know the first one was, so it would make sense that they all are, because he's like an amazing actor and it makes sense for him to like voice his own books, so like why do one and not the rest, you know? So I need to check that out, but this is the one I think I'm going to pick up next, and then I will pick up Arusha after that. So I'm gonna rearrange my TBR as I usually do, because hello. And this one wasn't originally on my TBR for the readathon, but I'm gonna fit it in, I think, and I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna say this so wrong, Artificery, and the prompt is an Earth setting, so like considering that this is set historically, but it's set on Earth, I feel like that'll work. So we're gonna go with this one next, and then I'm still making my way for Dial A for Aunties. I haven't touched it since I read like the epilogue. I think the beginning of the week or last week. I don't even remember. I think it was last week. So we'll see on that one. Again, I do have an audiobook for that, so I'm hoping to get through that one. But I want to get through a couple that my library has out because I need to return them, and I don't know if I can get the audiobooks again. So this is the one that I'm going to start next. I'm very excited about it. I loved the first one. I'm expecting this to be a good, fun kind of like adventure. And I have this urge now that my workday is over. Now my husband probably won't be home for another maybe hour or so, half hour to an hour, depending on if he decides to run after school. So I'm gonna go sit in the living room and play a video game while I listen to this because I just have the urge to do that, you know? I recently got, okay, this isn't bookish related, so you could skip over this section if you would like to. But when I was growing up, I had the video game for Madagascar, the movie, and I was obsessed with that game, and I used to play it on the computer all the time. And my husband and I found it at the Book Warehouse, because they also sell like DVDs and movies and stuff. We found it there for his Game Boy, or is it? Yeah, I think it's his game. I don't remember. It's a gaming system. We have a Wii, but his Game Boy is connected to the Wii, and I don't understand how that works. That's him. But we got it, so I can play it, and I just don't ever really have time, because when I'm home, we're like either watching TV or like having dinner, so like I'm not gonna be playing a game because it's all in the same like system. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'm very excited because I love this game, and it just brings back all the memories. It's like a terrible, compared to today's standards, the graphics are not amazing, but it's just like it's wholesome, okay? I love it so much. So we're gonna go do that until he gets home, and then I don't know, we're gonna have a lazy day because neither of us have work tomorrow. So I'm excited to go play a video game that it's just one of those nostalgia things, you know? And then I'll probably come back to you tomorrow when I have things to say or wrap up this vlog. Oh, we're also gonna go to the Book Warehouse tomorrow because we're trying to collect the Marvel movies, so I'm sure I'll get some books there because I can't leave that place without buying at least one book. So I'll take you with me tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. I'm just so excited I can't think straight. I just realized I'm wearing the exact same shirt that I ended last week's and began this week's vlog with. Hello, it's Friday. night. Is it technically night? I mean, it's almost 5. I'll say it's night. So I thought I'd just come on here and kind of wrap up the week. We didn't do a whole lot today. We did went to the bargain bookstore, like I told you I think I talked to you yesterday, the last time I talked to you, that we were going to go do that. We went for movies, and I came back with a few things. You saw the 4 books that I bought. There's a whole other stack that's all nonfiction that my husband bought. So, like, we walked out of there with quite a few things. But tonight is mainly just going to be finishing editing this vlog and watching a movie. Maybe a little bit of reading, probably not too much. I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done tomorrow. So hopefully the beginning of next week's vlog will be a pretty eventful one. So I thought I'd just kind of wrap up where we are now. The only real update I've got for you book-wise is that I did start the Magic Misfits, which is this one is called the second story, I think. And this one follows the same set of characters, but we're from a different point of view. We're from Lila's point of view, which is a character we met in the first one. Actually, she is... I'll show you a picture of what she is. This one's her, so we're following her. The first book we followed Carter, so we're following her. So this is, oh, also, isn't this cute? I got this, like, corner bookmark from Book Nook sleeves. I'll leave their Etsy down below. I've got a couple of their sleeves, but they have these fun, like, bookmarks that are, like, go over the pages. So I have my ACOTAR one. I'm just really happy. I just got them not that long ago, so I'm using them for the first time, and I think it's super cute. No, you didn't need to know any of that. So I've made it about, where was I? Almost 50 pages, not quite. I made it to chapter 5, and I'm really enjoying it. The story hasn't really gotten started yet. There is a section at the beginning that kind of like reminds you who all the characters are, because it's a relatively big cast of characters. The main group is 6 kids, so it kind of reminds you a little bit what happened in the first one, because it starts almost immediately after the events of the first one. Now, I think we're going to follow a completely different set of characters, I think, or as far as, like, the villain character, or, like, the actual plot of this one is probably going to be different than the first one, but the first main character, or the kind of like the villain from the first book, is mentioned a few times. So it hasn't really gotten quite started yet, but I have been enjoying it. The audiobook that I've got is dual narration, because this is from Lila's point of view, so there is a female narrator for most of this, but in between these pages, like with the first one, there are these how-to chapters which shows you how to do a specific magic trick, and those are Neil Patrick Harris narrates those. He also narrated the beginning as kind of like a, hey, welcome back, here's how you read this book, and the welcome back, which kind of explained who all these characters were, just to remind you what's going on. So haven't made too much progress in this, but I'm hoping to dive into this one tomorrow. So we'll be bringing this one into next week, as well as Dial A for Aunties. I made 0 progress in this one, but after I finish this book, we'll see if these are the 2 that I'm bringing into next week. But looking at this week, what I was able to finish, I finished 4 books. So I'll count that as like a huge win. I am only two books away from having my career finished, but I've been able to read quite a few books. So we started off the week finishing The Heiress. And this one ended up getting 4 stars. Very much enjoyed that. Then we had, of course, my Tessa Dare book, which was, oh, I can't pick it up, and She Want to Start a Scandal, which ended up giving 4 stars as well. And then I think the next one was Galatea was the next one I picked up, which ended up getting 4 stars. And then Learned My Lesson by Katie Robert was the last one, and that one also got 4 stars. So honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, every single book I read this week got 4 stars. So pretty decent start to the month, considering we're 2 weeks in, and like I've given everything 4 or 5 stars so far, so not upset with that at all. But that's really all I've got for you guys today. Next week might be one of my less eventful vlogs, because I'm going to be spending like the entire week, I work the entire week in the office, so nothing too crazy is probably going to be happening, except for like maybe on the weekend, so the beginning of the vlog. I do have a friend coming to visit next week, which I'm very excited about. So we'll see what happens with that, but it might be eventful, it might be uneventful. We'll just kind of see. But I hope you guys enjoyed week 2 of the Magical Readathon. Please let me know, as always, down below if you're participating, what things you were able to accomplish so far in the month. Even if you're not participating, let me know what kinds of things you've accomplished so far in the month. How's your reading going? Let's chat. Tell me all your bookish thoughts. I just want to chat with you guys. Tell me all the things. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all of that out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!